So this video is going to be geared more towards those of you who have never actually purchased a gun. You've never filled out this, the ATF form 4473. It's going to be to just highlight for you what it takes to actually purchase a firearm legally in the United States. You've probably heard some stuff in the media, on the news. They say it's too easy to buy a gun. Some people say it's too hard to buy a gun. And right here you can see for yourself. I'll lay it all out for you, and you can make a decision at the end whether or not you think it's too easy or too difficult to buy a gun. So without further ado, let's dive right into it. Alright guys, so here we have the ATF form 4473. This is the form you're going to fill out anytime you purchase a gun from an FFL/gun dealer. What we'll do here is go through this. We're going to focus mainly on page 1. We'll take a look at the other pages as well, but this is the main meat of the document that's going to pertain to you when you buy a gun. So from the top, let's see what it says here. This is your warning up here, and it mentions the Gun Control Act and the penalties for violating it right here. So 10 years in prison, $250,000 fine. It says to read the notices, instructions, and definitions, which is at the back, pages 5 and 6. And where this can be done, it has to be done on the premise of the FFL. So with that aside, you're going to start by listing off your name, identifying yourself, your address, all that, place of birth, if you're born in a foreign country, height, weight, sex, birthday. Something very important here to note is that this is county, not country. A lot of times you'll look at that and think country, but it is in fact county. Social security number. If you have a very generic name like John Smith, consider putting it here. It's not required, but it will help to prevent misidentification. Your ethnicity, your race, these are all just identifying factors. This right here is where we get into the meat of it. This is your background portion right here. So, are you the actual transferee buyer of the firearm? So this is very important. If you are not the one, you're not buying this for yourself, you're going to buy it for somebody else and then give it to them right afterwards, that is actually a crime. I believe an informal name for it is straw buying. So that is illegal. You cannot buy a gun, do a background check, and then immediately transfer it to somebody else, because that shows your intent was to buy it on someone else's behalf, which is not legal under U.S. law. Are you under indictment or information in any court for a felony? So basically this deals with a felony and this deals with a felony. If you're under indictment or have been convicted of a felony, then you are not allowed to buy a gun. Plain and simple. Are you fugitive from justice? So like if you have an outstanding warrant and you're trying to buy a gun, you will not be allowed to buy a gun in that case. And this is the big one here. This is the one that's not going to jive with a lot of people. This is the controlled substances section, and this includes marijuana, as it says here. So if it is legal in your state and you've gotten a weed card, you will not be allowed to purchase a gun, and it will show up on your background check. If you've gotten a ticket for possession of marijuana, that could also show up. If you answer no to this, you will get in trouble if it shows up on your background check. So just be aware of that. Have you been adjudicated mentally defective? So like 303, 302, are you suicide risk, anything like that? If that is in your background and you answer yes, you are lying, so you can't own a gun if you're mentally defective. Have you been discharged from the armed forces dishonorably? That's, eliminating factor there. Court order, like a restraining order, that eliminates you. Convicted of misdemeanor crime of domestic violence. If you want to look up what exactly constitutes domestic violence, feel free. I'm not going to lay it out here, but just be aware that any convictions of that will eliminate you from eligibility to purchase a gun. So something important to note about this section as well, right here, is that as far as I'm aware, this is lifetime, all this stuff. So like if any of this has been true at any point in your life, you will not be able to purchase a gun for the rest of your life, unless of course you have had your rights restored or your record has been expunged somehow and it's no longer on your record. But if any of this is on your record at any point in your life after it's happened, you cannot purchase a gun. So that very well could be the rest of your life. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, we'll look at page 2 here. This is what's going to basically tell you about the previous page. So you're basically committing perjury. I'm not a lawyer, but just be aware that it's probably interpreted as perjury if you're lying in that previous section. And this is basically laying out, you know, your contract to them, saying that you're not lying, you told the truth on all those sections. So like if you did lie, then you probably will face legal consequences for doing so. You sign here and date, and like I said, the rest of this is going to be filled out by the FFL. It's going to be details about the NICS check, the National Instant Check System check that they did on your background, the details about the firearm that you bought, serial number, action, all that kind of stuff. And then, so we're going to look at the final pages here, which are the terms. Like I said before, they lay out all the terminology here and the legal mumbo jumbo. But that is the end of the form. So this is what it takes to actually legally purchase a firearm from a FFL at a federal level. This does not include any restrictions that you may have at a state level, and it also doesn't cover private sales of firearms if that is legal in your state. Okay, so now that we've taken a look at the 4473 and what it takes to actually buy a gun from an FFL/gun dealer, what do you think? Do you think it's too difficult to buy a gun? Do you think it's too easy? Is there anything on this form that could be added to maybe prevent people who shouldn't have guns from having guns? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you even think there should be any restrictions on buying a gun? Whatever your thoughts are, just let me know in the comments below. Really appreciate the feedback. And if you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.